Remember to stay hydrated, guys. What is going on? Welcome back. Apologies for the lack of content recently. I've been a little bit busy, just taking care of family matters and stuff. As I've returned home from work. Now, basically, a lot has happened recently. Obviously, we've had a few different sort of things going on. Weekend leagues just finished. We also had some re-release SPCs, and some of them are fantastic value, by the way. I would still avoid Scream Milner. The Team of the Week upgrade is decent. These Footmas challenges that they're giving us with untradeable rewards are very, very questionable, and we have got one Torch Promos and Flashback Lucas Pijek. So, and also we had Mascherano. So this guy now is phenomenal value because this is a great card as it is, and he is playing phenomenally. So I think it's very, very unlikely that he doesn't get another upgrade, and even as a super sub, it's a very good card, well worth the money. So is Lucas Pijek, a serious endgame right back right here. Just lacks the pace, but you know, Kevin Style will fix that. Anyway, we're not here to talk about these. Today, this video is going to be solely focused on icon swaps and what I feel like is the best thing to do. We have got some incredible players this time around. And I want to start from the bottom, talk about whether I think you should or shouldn't get them, and sort of compare the players that are around the same value and tell you who I think you should go for. So obviously, if you like the content, you know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. And we're going to start at the very bottom and work our way up. So this time, the lowest available ones are 5 tokens. Last time we had Schmeichel for 6. Today, well, this for the next, I think it's about 2-3 months. We've got players starting at 5 tokens. 74 days, yeah. So the first 2 players that we have at 5 tokens is 89 rated. I believe that's base or middle Bobby Moore. I think it's middle Bobby Moore. And we have base Rijkaard. So Bobby Moore, 89 rated centre back. He is English, which means he strong links a lot of other good players. So strong links players like Kyle Walker, Joe Gomez is UCL, road to the final card, players like that. It's very useful to have that in an icon, someone who does strong link to plenty of players. He's medium, which isn't great. You'd prefer high defensive work rate. Personally, I do notice the difference. 5'10" is fine for this game, for this meta. He'll still win plenty because he does have decent jumping. Now, things to like about this card is that his reactions and composure are phenomenal. His agility and balance for a centre back is great, and his ball control for a centre back is phenomenal as well. His passing is outrageously good. He is better than most midfielders, to be honest. In terms of base passing stats, it's very, very nice. His defending is really, really good. It's seriously end game, and you wouldn't need to. I mean, personally, the game style I would use is a shadow because of the lack of pace, but it's not like he needs a shadow on his defense because it's already so good. In terms of his physicals, he's got phenomenal stamina. Means he'll be able to go 120 minutes, no problem, as a medium player without any problems whatsoever. 82 strength is fine, and 81 jumping. So his physicals do need a boost. The problem is, if you want to boost his physicals, you can't put a major boost on his pace then, and I feel like he needs the pace more. It's a very good card. It's a card that I like a lot, and it's a card that I think, for 5 tokens, can't really go wrong if you have 5 tokens. Now, obviously, what we're also going to consider is how much of a grind it is to get these players. 5 tokens is not a grind. 5 tokens, you could probably earn them from squad battles in a couple of days, just by sitting down and burning through them. And we have Frank Rijkaard. Out of the 2, I'd choose probably more. So first off, this guy doesn't have great work rates. He has low medium, which I don't think I've ever seen. Medium defensive work rate is okay. Low attacking is it's questionable. 4-star weak foot's nice. 3-star skills is okay. 6'2" is phenomenal. He's gonna have that gravity that bigger players do, where the ball seems to always sort of come towards them. Sort of what you get with Vieira, and we will talk about Vieira later in the video. Plenty of Dutch strong links as well. Players like Van Dijk, De Jong. There's a lot of good Dutch players you can link him to. Obviously, he's an icon, he's going to link to everyone, but strong links matter to people, and it's something you do have to consider. So his defensive stats are good, his physical stats are okay. 75 stamina for a midfielder isn't great, but with his work rates, it shouldn't be a problem. The thing that's a killer with this card is the agility and balance, and for that reason, I would avoid him. He's got 94 composure, I've just realised. So he'll feel great on the ball, his passing's good, his shooting from outside the box will be mediocre. I just don't think there's enough going for this card to warrant choosing him over Bobby Moore if you only have 5 tokens. Obviously, It's going to massively depend on your needs. If you need a midfielder, then go for Rijkaard. If you need a defender, go for Bobby Moore. But if you don't know who to choose and either or would work, go for Bobby Moore. First off, he's a lot higher rated, which means that if you do want to just SPC fodder him, you can. I mean, why would you do that to an icon? Yeah, I don't think there's enough going for Rijkaard. Obviously, a lot of people just use these as sort of links. They'll throw them into the team to get some links, and then they'll sub them off. And for that case, obviously, midfielders are a little bit better for, obviously, they link to more people. Now, for one extra token, there's 2 players that you can choose from. Edwin van der Sar's 89 rated, I want to say his middle card, and Fernando Hierro's 86 rated base card. So, Fernando Hierro is actually pretty decent. So, Nick from Run the Foot Market just did a review on this card, and he said it was pretty decent. It's just, he's not end game, and there's so many good defenders in this game. You could get for less than 100k Juan Jesus's road to the final card, which I think is great, and that's upgradable. It's a dynamic card. There's players like Manolas, Koulibaly. There's just so many. I know he's an icon, and obviously you've got the links there, strong links to players like Screen PK, Sergio Ramos, but I just think as far as defenders go, he's good. I mean, his stats are actually pretty decent. His composure is a little bit low. His defending stats are good. His physical stats are great. He's got 92 jumping and 85 strength. His aggression is a little bit low, but you get that with Maldini as well. Decent short passing, very good long passing. His outlet passes will be great. Wow, he's got a lot of goals for a defender, didn't he? What is it with Real Madrid defenders? Anyway, and then obviously you have the choice between him and Van der Sar. So Van der Sar is absolutely ginormous. He's a 6'6" goalkeeper, with stats that are very, very reminiscent of ter Stegen's, other than kicking. So he scored a goal for Ajax. Interesting. Van der Sar was a very, very meta goalkeeper last year. He was used so much. He was used by pros, and so many endgame teams had him. This guy was going for 600 or 700k. His 87, in fact, was going for 600 or 700k towards the end of the game, and obviously this is a slight improvement on that card. It is very nice, and obviously if you could do with the goalkeeper, then go for him. If you can get someone like ter Stegen, then just do that, because ter Stegen's not incredibly expensive at this moment in time. Hierro is a good defender if you do need a defender, and I think he's worth the grind over Bobby Moore. To get one more token, give Fernando Hierro. Obviously, if you're going to choose someone else that restricts you from being able to choose Bobby Moore, then fair enough. But if you can get Hierro, then go for Hierro over Bobby Moore, and obviously go for Van der Sar. He is a very good goalkeeper. There's no reason why you should avoid him if you need a good keeper. It's a big jump up from there. We're up to 10 tokens now, and you've got 4 available options. You have Raul, Ronald Koeman, Clarence Seedorf, and Robert Perez. So first and foremost, I want to say I'd avoid Perez. He's not very meta for this game. First off, his reactions and composure for someone who's got 89 dribbling is pretty low. His balance and agility are pretty low for a wide man or an attacker as well. 6'2", so he's not incredibly meta at that height. Super low aggression, decent stamina. His dribbling, other than reactions, balance, and agility, is pretty good for someone who's 91 rated. His passing's very nice. His shooting is okay, but outside the box, he's not going to be much of a threat. And his pace is okay. I just would avoid him. He's never been a good FIFA player. I think last year it was the same story. He just wasn't very used. He just wasn't very, very good. And obviously for someone who's 6'2", with 60 strength and with low balance, he's going to get pushed off the ball so easily. So that's the one I'd avoid. Now the other 3 is a bit of a toss-up, because Kona's good as a CDM. So if you can get him into your team as a CDM, go for him. He's got great defensive stats, great physicals. He's got decent work rates. Obviously, if you put him on stay back, he will stay back. His passing and just across the board is really good. His vision's a little bit low, but look at that crossing, free kick accuracy, long passing, short passing curve, all above 85, which is phenomenal. His shooting's also great. He's going to finish everything from outside the box. Or he's going to get everything on target from outside the box, obviously. Not necessarily going to finish with some of the keepers that we've got in the game. His pace is okay as well. So if you used to put something like an anchor on him, you could play him as a CDM. And, them attacking stats are very, very nice, and something that shouldn't be overlooked. It's a very, very good card. Again, he's Dutch, so he's got plenty of linking options. It's just whether you can fit him into your team as a midfielder. The other midfielder that we've got, He's a centre back, but we've got a midfielder, and it's Clarence Seedorf. And this is one of the best, most rounded cards in the game. As an 85 rated, he's very, very good. His defensive stats lack a little bit, but he's got very good stand tackling and very good interceptions, which for me are the two most important stats. His physicals are also very good. Obviously, heading's not a matter in this game, so jumping won't matter. His shooting's very good, and with a boost, he'd make a very good cam. I think his passing's great as well, so this guy could be a very, very good card. Hopefully, I can get my hands on him, and I will do a review on him, because this is a card that I've wanted for a while to try. High work rates, 4-star, 4-star. Just that list of sort of, information there. It's something that's going to make him feel very, very meta, and something very, very good. It's a very handy set of features to have. And then we've got Raul, who I think looks absolutely phenomenal. I think he's going to get overlooked by a lot of people, but he's got very good short passing, phenomenal dribbling. He's very, very meta because his agility and balance are both very, very high. Good jumping, good heading accuracy, good stamina. His aggression is a little bit, very low. His strength is actually pretty good. I think the 72 physical is very misleading because of the aggression. And his shooting, with a boost, he's going to finish everything in the box. Personally, if you were going to play him as a striker, I'd put a hunter on him, and it will make his pace and his shooting incredibly end-game. His passing and dribbling don't really need the boost, but if you wanted to, and you wanted to play him as something like a cam, you could put a Maestro on him, or a Deadeye, or something like that, and he will feel very, very good on the ball. Again, he's 4-star, 4-star, high medium, 5'11". For someone who's 5'11", to have agility and balance like that is pretty special, and he will be very difficult to take off the ball, because his in-game stock will feel pretty good. So, out of these four, avoid Perez, go for Koeman if you need a defensive midfielder, Seedorf if you need a box-to-box, and Raul if you want a striker. I don't want to say I don't want to tell you who to choose, because everyone's requirements are going to be different. If you've got 10 tokens and it's a toss-up, I'd go for Raul. But again, just avoid Perez and go for one of the other three. Unless you're an Arsenal fan or a Perez fan or a French fan, whatever it might be, I would avoid him and go for one of the other three. Now, at 11 tokens, it's weird because we've got Hidetoshi Nakata, who's the cheapest prime icon, and he's cheaper than the other four. I think he's about the same price as Robert Perez, but I'm not sure, which is interesting. So they've made a cheaper player more expensive. Now, at 11 tokens, you can take Nakata, so it's an okay card, but that's all it is. His aggression is really, really low. If you wanted to, you could use him as a box-to-box because he's got good interceptions. Again, it's just not what I would do. His shooting's very nice. From outside the box, it will be anyway. Passing's very, very nice. Dribbling is incredible. And pace is good. So you could do a lot of things with this card. If you wanted to, you could play him box-to-box, like I said, and put something like a shadow on him, but wouldn't be my choice. I'd play him as a cam. And again, if you're a Japanese fan, if you're a fan of any of the teams that Nakata played across Italy for many, many different teams, and obviously had a little stint one season at Bolton, it's a good card. It's a good card. It's good, but that's all it is, and that's where it's going to end. It's not incredibly meta. He's not going to stay in your team for a long time, whereas I feel like Raul or Koeman, maybe even Seedorf, could stay in your team for a while. The other problem I've got with him is for 11 tokens, there are two other very good choices. So Socrates he's made much, much better because he has the 5-star weak foot. You can't force him onto a specific side, which is something that I like to do when I'm defending. If I come up against someone who's got a 5-star weak foot, it tends to be my weakness because my go-to move is to push them onto the weaker side. He's 6'4", which isn't very meta. His agility and balance are shocking. But outside of that, his dribbling's very good. He's on 95 composure. Really good stamina, strength, and aggression. His jumping's not very high, but he is 6'4", so it won't matter. His shooting is phenomenal. His pace is good enough, so with a boost, that he will be very, very good. He could make a decent cam, but that's all he'll be. He'll be decent and nothing much more, really. Again, he's got the Brazilian strong links, which might be a reason people go for him. But then, my pick of the range at 11 tokens, and the only person you should go for if you've got 11 tokens is this dude, Gianluca Zambrotta. I have played against him, and he is so difficult to play against. He's so good. Obviously, he's got phenomenal pace already, which means that you can focus on something else to boost. So you can put something like an anchor on him, make his physical super end game as well as his defensive stats, and then his pace will be really high as well. He actually has semi-decent shooting and very good passing. His crossing is solid if you play fullbacks that get forward. And his dribbling is very good as well. This card, should be in my choice. Oh, and the 5-star weak foot and 4-star skills again make him very very usable. And if you play in a if you like to sort of play maybe a 3-back, you could easily play this guy at CDM or centre mid with that 5-star weak foot. He will feel very very good. He's got ideal work rates. Oh well, high for me would be ideal for a fullback, but high medium is the next best thing. 5'11". Again, he's pretty tall, so he will have a bit of that gravity. And it's very very important in this game. It can't be overlooked. Players like Paulinho, these really really tall, and Sissoko, they feel a lot better than they are because they can reach them for harder to reach balls and get them harder to reach interceptions. I just tried to drink this with the lid on. So if you've got 11 tokens, I wouldn't go for either of the other two. I would take Gianluca Zambrotta. Again, it just depends on what you need though. If you are desperate for a centre mid or a cam or a centre forward, then obviously you need to consider going for one of the other two. But if you spoil for choice, or if you're you don't know who to choose from, and you've got 11 tokens, so you're going to go for 11 tokens and go for Gianluca Zambrotta. What's worth noting is that first off, any of these two can be combined with any of the other ones, and you can easily combine two of these together as well. You could, I'm going to come on to Figo, but you could easily combine Zambrotta with Figo, or Zambrotta with Ronald Koeman or Raul if you wanted to, or even one of the even lower ones. If you wanted to just take an Edwin van der Sar, you could do that and take Zambrotta. There's plenty you can do. Now next up, we've got Luis Figo. This is where it starts to get a little bit difficult. So after Figo is where it starts to get a little bit difficult to sort of make the combinations up, and I'll explain why in a second. So he's medium, which for me is automatically a downer, but it's still okay. 5'11" is okay. Again, not incredibly meta. 4-star. His agility is good. His balance is a little bit low. His shooting is very nice across the board. His passing is very nice across the board, although his curve's a little bit low. His physicals are actually very nice, and it's something that shouldn't be overlooked. Players that with high strength and high agility tend to be very, very difficult to push off the ball. And 77 strength for someone who'll either play, well, where I would play him is either as a wide cam or a middle cam. It's just something that I really wouldn't overlook. 4-star is also very nice for someone who's going to play at cam. And that passing, again, it doesn't even need a boost. I would concentrate on maybe even getting his strength even up a little bit more, putting something like a Hawk on him. But this is a very nice card. Or you could put something like a engine on him and get his dribbling up and get his balance up above 80. A nice card indeed. And obviously he's the only option for 13 tokens, so there's no comparisons here. What you could do is, if you want to grind for all 24, take Figo and Zambrotta, and that would be, I mean, that's a solid combination. That is two very good players, prime Figo and middle Figo, sorry, and baby Zambrotta, who is very very end game as far as right backs go. There aren't many good right backs in this game, and that would be pretty formidable. Now, a step up from that, 14 tokens. Now, you need to consider that if you go for 14 tokens, these are all out of the picture, then you'd have to pick someone from Perez or below. So you could go for Raul on one of the 14 token ones, or you could pick, Edwin van der Sar or Frank Rijkaard or Bobby Moore if you wanted to, or Hierro. Just something to note. So you got Sol Campbell is the first 14 token player. So this guy is good. His work rates are poor, and his agility and balance are poor. He is going to turn like a truck. He has no ball control as well, which is worth noting. However, my Juan Jesus Road to the Final card also has very bad ball control, and it never bothers me too much. I do notice it here and there. His passing's okay. Pace is already very good. His physicals are phenomenal, which means that, look how high his strength is. He's going to body everyone. He's going to body absolutely everyone. He's going to be such a force, especially at his height as well. He's going to have such a big in-game stock, and his defending stats are very good as well. You put something like an anchor or a shadow on this guy, and you've got an end-game centre-back bar the dribbling, which is very, very key if you are someone who does like to play out from the back. And then also 14 tokens, we've got Gary Lineker. So again, Nick from Run the Foot Market reviewed this card. I don't have the means to review. I don't have the coins, unfortunately. So if you do want to watch a review, I recommend that review. However, without watching the review, I can tell you that this card is very good. I believe he's 6 foot, 5'10", and he's got very good agility and balance for someone of that height. Very good head accuracy and jumping. His dribbling is phenomenal. Really good reactions and composure. Good short passing. Personally, I might consider putting an engine on this card. He's rarely ever, with high-low work rates, he's rarely ever going to be outside of the box. And even if he is, his long shots are already pretty good. His pace is already pretty decent, so he doesn't need a huge boost. Maybe an engine would be right for him to get his balance and agility up, and it will also boost his passing somewhat as well. So this guy could be very, very good. Out of the two, again, they're such different players. Both of them have got the English links, by the way, which is nice to have. It's actually very nice to have. It's a tough one. It's a tough one. Again, they're both good in their own right. They both maybe got their own. I think Sol Campbell has a lot less chance to staying in your team for a long period of time because of that agility and balance. It probably won't be long until we've got centre backs that can have the similar defending stats to him, but don't turn like a truck, and have maybe decent passing as well. So off that basis, I'd go for Gary Lineker. Now we also have Laurent Blanc, who makes a phenomenal box-to-box midfielder. He has the work rates for it. He has the height for it. 6'4". I am telling you, it's almost like having height is almost like a stat when it comes to midfielders. The better the height, the better they tend to play because of that gravity. Look at players like Sissoko, like Paulinho, like Vieira. They're all huge, and there's a reason why these guys are meta this year. It is because they can pull in interceptions further away than any other player. You know, and it's very nice to have in the middle of the park. And with that basis, I would consider taking this card. Like I said, he's just super well rounded. You know, he's got really nice passing. His shooting's very good. If he's ever in the box, he'll finish. 3-star, 2-star is a little bit of a concern, but not too much of a concern. You could also play this guy as a secondary CDM because he does have very nice passing. Excuse me. And yeah, his defending stats are pretty decent, and his physicals are okay. So if you put something like an anchor on this guy, you will have a defender that is, or a defensive midfielder that is very good and has very good defensive stats. I wouldn't play him as a lone defensive mid because I don't think his defending stats are good enough for that. But as a centre mid or a secondary CDM, he will be very, very good. And again, this all depends on your needs. I think French link is better than English link this year. Who I would take for 14 tokens, my pick would be Gary Lineker, but I wouldn't overlook Blanc and I wouldn't overlook Sol Campbell. They're both, well, all three of them are very good, but Lineker for me is the best. Now at 18 tokens, you can redeem a mid icon pack. I'm going to actually, while we're here, I'm going to get a graphic up for you of all mid icons, so you guys can see every single middle icon that is available in the game, and, you know, you can sort of decide for yourselves if you feel like it is going to be worth it. So that's the base icon SPC. What if I put it in mid icon SPC? That doesn't show it. That doesn't show it. Okay, we got it here. So, what you can see in front of you here on the right hand side, this photo is posted by Reddit. It was posted on Reddit, and it shows you every single mid icon available in the game. So, you know, there's plenty of good players here. There's plenty of players that fit into most teams. Players like Hullet, or you know, Desai even, or, you know, Socrates is very good, Baggio is very good, Vieira, obviously you've got Pelé, Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, Roberto Carlos is very good. I think one thing you do need to consider if you're going to do the mid icon pack is how many icons you already have in your team, because the last thing you want is to get an untradeable icon that's a duplicate of an icon that you've already got, you know, that's already untradeable. But yeah, this graphic is very, very, very handy for you guys, and it'll be handy for you guys if they do bring out a proper, you know, SBC for mid icons. But that's just something to consider. Would I do it? I don't know. I don't like the uncertainty surrounding it. I'd probably just take a sure thing, because knowing my luck this year, outside of packing middle Roy Keane, I won't get anything of note. Now step up from that. We get into the last few now. is we've got Luis Hernandez. His prime? Middle? Prime. I think it's his prime. I'm pretty sure it's his prime. 5'9", high medium, 3-star, 4-star. Straight away, the 3-star weak foot for a forward is a put off for me, but you know, if you can get him onto a strong foot, he's going to be lethal. He's got great finishing in attack positioning, really good shooting outside of that, really good pace, jumping and stamina are very good, strength's a little bit low, aggression's a little bit low, really good heading accuracy as well, and outrageous dribbling. You know, agility and balance makes him very meta. If you don't mind playing with someone with a 3-star weak foot, I really would not overlook this card. And at 19 tokens, comparing him to John Barnes, which I will do in a second, he could be a steal. He could be a very, very good pickup. Whether he's worth 5 more tokens than someone like Gary Lineker, I don't know. That's going to be for you to decide. But it's a good pickup. And again, I wouldn't shame you for taking this card in Icon Swaps. Now, also at 19 tokens, we have Prime John Barnes. This card could be very good, and I'll explain why. I understand that he's 6 foot, and it makes him probably the least meta winger you could have. Based on height, you know, you want short wingers, you want agile wingers. He's left-footed, 4-star, 4-star, which makes him a very, very good cam. He's got great pace. His agility is good, his balance is a little bit low. His shooting is very good, other than penalties. His passing is very good, other than long passing. And his physicals are phenomenal. And this guy could be one of them players that you need to tackle about 5 times to take off the ball. Because of that strength, because of that agility. If you boost his balance, if you put something like an engine chem style on him and put him at cam, this guy will be so difficult to take off the ball. And I think he could be phenomenal. And out of these two, I would take John Barnes. I think he just looks great. He just looks very, very good. Super well rounded, great reactions and composure, great dribbling. Like I said, he's already got decent agility, and his balance is very slightly low, but you can boost that. At 6 foot as well, he will have a big in-game stock, and if you don't mind playing with players that have a big in-game stock, you know, he's the same height, for example, as players like Kevin De Bruyne, you know, and he's a very good cam. So, again, out of these two, I'll take John Barnes. I will take John Barnes, but if you can earn that extra token, or if you have that extra token spare, or if you don't want to combine one of these 19 token players with a 5 token player, go for Alessandro Del Piero. Just remember that from this point onwards, you cannot get anyone else. If you take Alessandro Del Piero or above, that is it. That's your lot. You cannot get anyone else. Now, he's medium, which in comparison to his baby, who's high medium, might not be the best. This guy is outrageous. He's got a 5-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, 5'9". His acceleration and sprint speed are okay. His shooting is phenomenal. His passing is very good, although his long passing is a little bit low. You have a penalty taker or a free kick taker. A cam. You can play him at wide cam if you really wanted to. You can play him at striker if you wanted to. However, he doesn't have the strength for that for me. I say that. I'm also playing Mertens at striker at the moment, but you know. And he's got very good stamina, so it means it will be, as a medium player, he'll be fine for 120 minutes. Outside of his balance, I don't think there's a fault with this card. His pace is a little bit low, which is probably why I'd put something like a engine on him. Get his balance a little bit higher. Boost that dribbling to pretty much end game max, the highest it can possibly be. Boost his passing up so you can play him at cam without any sort of worries about his passing, and get his sprint speed and acceleration above 90. This is the card that I'm going to go for personally. If I can get to 20 tokens, I'm going to go for him, and I'm going to utilize this card so much, because at the moment I'm playing Politano at cam, and there's only so long I can do that for. Eventually, what I want to do is play my team. So this guy plays at cam, and we have Politano and Mertens up front instead of Lautaro. Although I am liking Lautaro, but that is the plan eventually. Obviously, I only can earn 6 tokens at the moment, so I'm gonna have to wait. And yeah, so like I said, this is my pick, and I think if you guys are gonna go for the max tokens, you should consider him as well. One more token up from him, we have Ronaldinho, who isn't the most meta this year, although his agility and balance are better than Del P's. Well, I think his agility is slightly lower. Really phenomenal dribbling stats, very good passing, pace, sorry. Very good passing as well, actually. Very good shooting. This guy makes a phenomenal cam. His work rate's a little bit of an issue, and he's got 5-star, 4-star, which is, you know, aside from 5-star, 5-star, or 5-star weak foot, 4-star skill moves, I think it's the best combination. It is the best combination you can have. A lot of people do value the skill moves, and I think that's going to be one thing that people use to choose between these two is whether they choose the 5-star skills or the 5-star weak foot. Very similar players in many regards. I think Ronaldinho is more suited to Cam, and Del Piero is more suited to winger, centre forward, striker. But you can play either at any position at the top of the field. His stamina's a little bit low as well, but a medium low, it shouldn't be too much of an issue. Again, I think I would take Delpy, but it's going to really, really depend on your own personal preference. A lot of people take Ronaldinho because he is the favourite player of all time for a lot of people I know. Not the best player of all time, but the favourite player of all time. The person that made a lot of people love football. And I did enjoy watching Del Piero, which is another reason that I am considering him. Now, out of these two, I definitely don't think Ronaldinho is worth a token more. And if I had to choose between the two, I'd take Del Piero. But again, it's up to you guys. Obviously, I said I'd take Del Piero over anyone. And now we're on to the final two, the 23 token players. So I'm actually going to start with Patrick Vieira, and I'm going to explain why I would choose who I would choose out of these two. So Vieira is, historically the best CDM in the game. His prime card is used by the pros. His middle card is used by the pros, and it's easy to see why. He's 6'4". His work rates on this card are medium, whereas over to a medium high. 3-star is okay for a CDM. The fact that he's 6'4" is the primary reason that people would choose this card. And it's the primary reason why people use this card. So I want to say now that this card, I will have a quick look on Footbin on my phone, but I believe this card at the moment is about 1 million coins on PlayStation. Where is he? There we go. So it's 1.08 million, and I'll talk to you in a moment about why that's relevant. Anyway, so he's got very good dribbling for someone of his size. His agility and balance is a little bit low, but he's got very good reactions and composure. Phenomenal defensive stats and phenomenal physicals. He's going to be very difficult to take off the ball when he's on it, and he's going to take people off the ball very easily. His passing's good, vision's very nice as well. His shooting from outside the box will be mediocre. He has it in his locker though if you need to unleash a shot with him. Don't know if it's going to go in. And his pace is okay, so that if you put something like a shadow on him, you've got yourself a pretty good CDM, and one that will probably be in your team for a solid amount of time. Like I said, the main primary reason that people go for Vieira is the strength, and because of the 6'4" height, the gravity that I keep talking about. He has it. He has it more than anyone. He has that frame. He almost has longer legs than anyone else in the game. And he just draws in the ball. He's so hard to get past, and I can understand why people would take him. However, at 23 tokens, and as a Chelsea fan, I would avoid Vieira and go with Michael Essien. Now, forget the fact that I'm a Chelsea fan. This is talking based off pure FIFA stats. First off, it's his prime. And straight away, I'm going to tell you that this card at the moment is 2.1 million coins on PlayStation, and Vieira is only 1.08, and there's a reason for that, and it's because look at the stats on this card. This card, if you take Vieira just because of the hype around Vieira and just because of the 6'4", I think you'd be making a bad decision. I'm not going to criticize you for it. I would never do that. This all comes down to personal preference, but this Michael Essien card, first off, is much more likely to score from outside the box, has better pace, has better actual passing stats, slightly lower vision, better dribbling stats, although his reactions and composure are a little bit lower, better defensive stats, and physicals are about on par. He's high, which makes him a very good either CDM or centre mid or secondary CDM. I would probably play him as a CDM, stay back. But he also has a 4-star weak foot, which is why I'm saying, and a high work rate, which is why I'm saying you could use him as box to box. This guy will be an absolute machine. And I think if you're going to go off based off market value, you're obviously going to take Essien. He is worth more than anybody else in this list of players. If you're going to go based off hype, you're probably going to go for Vieira. But if you're going to go based off statistics, you are going to go for Michael Essien. And I think that would be a very good choice. Now, if I make it to 23 tokens, I will take probably Essien. If I just feel like personally I won't make it to 23, I'll make it to 21, 22 maybe. And I'm going to take Delpy for that reason. If I can push to 24, I may consider Michael Essien. May. but it is going to depend massively on... Well, I don't know really. It's probably going to depend massively on how I'm feeling and what I need in the team at that moment in time. But I am a huge fan of Delpy. So there is that, and I am a huge fan of Michael Essien as a former Chelsea legend. Well, current Chelsea legend, a former Chelsea player. But that is going to conclude the video. So, overall, if you only want to take one player... In fact, I'll run through it backwards. So, at 23 tokens, go for Essien in my opinion. Around this sort of mark, at 19 tokens, go for John Barnes. Out of these two, Delpy and Ronaldinho, go for Delpy. The mid-icon pack could be decent value. It's worth doing some research into yourself and seeing players that you could get that would, that you wouldn't want and players that you would want. And if there's a more chance of you getting a player that you wouldn't want, then it's not worth it, of course. But that's for you to decide. How the 14 token players go for Lineker, but again, depending on your needs, depending on linking, you may want to go for Blanc or Sol Campbell. This could be a very good combination to go for. If you're going to go for Figo, make sure you get Zambrotta as well. Go for all 24 tokens. But if you don't go for all 24, 11 tokens, go for Zambrotta. And if you get to 10 tokens, then if you get to 10 tokens, then just grind and get another token and get Zambrotta. If you're at 10 tokens because you've taken a 14 token player, then go for Raul or Seedorf. In this order: Raul, Seedorf, Koeman, then Perez is the order that I would put these players in terms of who you should go for, who you should prioritise, and who you shouldn't go for. But again, personal preference linking, they're all different positions, they're all going to get you different links. Obviously, Seedorf and Raul can be interchanged with the same position, but, again, it's down to personal preference. Now, out of the cheapest few, Edwin van der Sar is a very good goalkeeper, always on FIFA. Fernando Hierro is pretty good, and I would say take him over Bobby Moore, and I would avoid Frank Rijkaard. He's the only player out of all of these, in fact, that I would strictly avoid. Robert Perez. They're the only two that I would avoid. Everyone else is going to come down to how much you grind the game, how many tokens you can earn. I know not everyone has the opportunity to just sit on the PlayStation all day and grind these tokens, and I understand and respect that. But for those of you that can grind, I've talked through top to bottom now what you should do or what I think you should do. So that is going to be the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. This is probably going to be quite a long video, so I appreciate you sitting through this, but I hope it helps you all in your decision. Apologies, it's a little bit late. Like I said, I've been dealing with a few family issues at the moment, and hopefully that's out of the way now, so I can concentrate on producing content for you guys. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you always. Thank you for all the love and support I've been getting recently. I really appreciate it. Plenty more to come. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.